Are you tired of plain language that makes you die of boredom? Do you have an itch for excitement? Do you long for an adventure that is the greatest, most fantastic, mind-blowing, earth-shattering, teeth-chattering, blow-off-your-socks, scream-in-your-face, coolest thing you would ever do in your life?
Oh my gosh, yes!
Well, then you should try playing the greatest video game to ever exist. Crystal Stars Hyperbolic Adventures! Find out more about the writing adventures you can take with hyperboles by going on a quest with Crystal Star. Learn more about hyperboles and Crystal Star's hyperbolic adventures after these messages. Hey kids! Make sure to use your guided notes to catch all of the information in this commercial. To really understand what this commercial is selling, you're going to need to know about figurative language, especially hyperbole. In this commercial, you will learn how to identify hyperboles and analyze how exaggeration gets its message across. But before we talk about hyperboles, let's review Crystal's last adventure with figurative language. As you might know from the predecessor of Crystal Star's hyperbolic adventures, figurative language is a great writing tool used in Crystal Star and the Cave of Figurative Language. Do you remember figurative language and how it could be used as a writing tool? Figurative language is when words have meaning other than what is literally in the text. In the past, Crystal Star used figurative language as her writing tool in order to create beautiful, descriptive sentences. In this game, Crystal tackles another type of figurative language, the hyperbole monster. In order to play, it is important to know that hyperbole is an exaggerated statement intended to get a message across. When we say that hyperboles have to be exaggerated, we mean that it has to be impossible. Hyperboles are exaggerated to make a point in order to entertain and emphasize the writer's message. The ridiculousness or outrageousness of these messages is what helps really make a writer's point. This is because once the action for a hyperbole is done, it is no longer hyperbolic. For example, we can say, "It's hot enough to fry an egg on the sidewalk," as a hyperbole. People might say this to get across the message that it's extremely hot out. However, when it is actually hot enough that the speaker can go out to the sidewalk to fry an egg, it is no longer a hyperbole, but rather a sentence saying what is actually happening. To practice spotting these hyperboles, we have at least 8 hidden hyperboles in this commercial. Make sure to use your guided notes to find all of the hyperboles. Re-watch to catch as many as you need to. If you are able to write at least 5, you may earn an extra gold. As you play, remember that hyperboles might sound like, "My sister was so angry that I could feel the ground shake." This is a hyperbole because it exaggerates how angry the speaker's sister is. Can her anger really move the ground? No, not really, or literally. Because hyperboles are meant to get a message across through exaggerations, the message the speaker is saying is that the sister is incredibly angry. While her anger can't really make the ground shake, the image of a furious sister and a quaking ground is really memorable and engaging. Even though it isn't actually happening, we understand just how mad the sister may be. "My brother's cookies could make the angels sing." Can cookies really make angels sing? Not that I've heard. So what does the speaker really mean? This is a hyperbolic statement because the speaker is exaggerating that angels would sing in happiness if they were to eat some of their brother's cookies. Angels might love their brother's cookies, but we can never be sure if they actually do sing because of them. In reality, the message truly means that the cookies the speaker's brother made were fantastically tasty. Now it's your turn to identify the hyperboles.
Me?
Which of these two choices is a hyperbole? My dog is as tough as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Or, my dog is tough enough to take on a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
I think it's my dog is tough enough to take on a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It can't be that the dog is as tough as the T-Rex because that is comparing two unlike things, the dog and the T-Rex. It's more of a metaphor. Saying the dog is tough enough to fight a T-Rex is an exaggeration because they are interacting aggressively towards each other rather than being compared like in the first sentence.
Why do you think this statement is a hyperbole then?
Oh, well, I think what makes this a hyperbole is that even though the speaker's dog is tough, they will probably not be able to take on a dinosaur because, well, a number of reasons. But it does seem like the speaker is really getting across the message that they have a very mighty and very brave dog. Nice!
Next one. Ready?
Yes.
Which is the hyperbole? The choir was so loud and off-key that space aliens started complaining about the noise. Or, the choir was off-key enough that the neighbors started complaining.
Well, the hyperbole has to be. The choir was so loud and off-key that space aliens started complaining about the noise. I think the speaker's trying to give the message that the choir wasn't the best. Saying the neighbors were complaining is entirely possible. Hyperboles need to be exaggerated, and bringing aliens into the mix definitely does it. Awesome!
Okay, last one. Which is the hyperbole? The eggs were overcooked enough that they were crispy. Or, the eggs were so overcooked you could use them as a frisbee.
This hyperbole is the eggs were so overcooked you could use them as a frisbee. Eggs can get very crispy when overcooked.
But can they fly through the air?
No, because the speaker is over-exaggerating its capability of flying through the air. I highly doubt that an egg, no matter how overcooked it is, can fly through the air. This creates the message that the eggs were extremely overcooked. Yay!
Congrats! You are a language arts explorer just like Crystal Star. Users love this game. Here are some hyperbolic testimonials from actual players.
This game made me so smart that I can now become a rocket scientist.
Crystal Star is fun enough to wake the dead.
This game is out of this world.
I hope you are following along. Make sure to catch all of those hyperboles in this commercial. Keep finding them in your everyday language so you can be a language arts hero just like Crystal Star. Before you play this amazing game, what have you learned about hyperboles?
Well, I now know that hyperboles are figurative, exaggerated statements meant to get a message across. If a statement says something that could truly happen, it is not a hyperbole.
Good job, Anthony. Now you're ready to take on Crystal Star's hyperbolic adventures.
Awesome! I'm ready. This is absolutely the best thing that could ever happen to anyone.
Call this toll-free number to get your copy. This game is now available for all gaming platforms. Hurry! Grab it before it's gone in the blink of an eye.